First of all, Merry Christmas Eve, everybody. It's a very exciting time on and off the football field. Hope everyone's staying safe, happy, and healthy, and enjoying the holidays with their family. So now get into the football part of it. This is a very a very intense time in the NFL. We've got fantasy playoffs going on. We've got the real playoff push happening, and the team that is not in the conversation for the playoffs at all, again for the 14th straight year, is the Jets. Right now, the Jets are sitting at 4-11, and I want to go through how differently the season could have possibly gone, and realistically, if the playoffs could have happened this year. Week 1, we started off playing the San Francisco 49ers. That loss was expected. And even without Christian McCaffrey, Jordan Mason was destroying us single-handedly that game. So, despite, them being CMC-less, and as we've seen, them not having CMC has ultimately tanked their season. It wouldn't have mattered in that game. That was a game where Debo was playing well, Ayuk was playing well enough, Kittle was playing well, Brock Purdy was playing well. Everything was clicking for them, and while things were kind of clicking for us, it was still a team that was evidently rusty and still trying to get to know each other. So a Niners loss was expected. So I do believe we start the season off 0-1. Now we get to why this season could have gone way differently. So the Jets started the season off 2-3. That was at the point that they had fired Robert Saleh. And Woody Johnson cited expectations and the record not being what he had wanted as the reason for firing Robert Saleh. But if we look at one specific thing, one little thing, one player that could have kept Robert Saleh with his job, could have kept the Jets. Obviously, it was still early in the season, so you can't really say playoff hopes, but we would have been in a lot better shape heading into the middle of the season. And that's Greg Zuerlein. It's really, truly, as a Jets fan, it's one of the saddest stories I think that we've watched in a long time. Legatron, Greg the Leg, he was really, unstoppable. He's drilling 60-plus yarders against Chicago in the rain at MetLife. And it's just like, dude, he's one of the greatest to do it. And I don't know what happened this year. I speculate he's not fully healthy, because when you look at just how he's just fallen off, it's really concerning. It's genuinely concerning. First of all, he's been on IR since week 9. He has not touched the NFL field since week 9. In week 8, he went 1 for 2 and arguably lost us that game. Very arguably lost us that game, which I'll get to in a second. It's very in question whether or not he'll be even playing next year if he's really injured. He's 36, which, by kicker standards isn't that old. We had Vinatieri kicking it till, 45? No pun intended. 45, 46 he was kicking it till. So he's still got, at least I think he has, another decade of playing. But, if he's not healthy, if his body can't do this anymore, he's made his money. There's nothing wrong with him retiring. It's someone I hate to see walk, but I hate seeing him walk a lot less when you look at it from this perspective. If you look at it as objectively as possible, the Jets, obviously close games are our worst enemy. I think we've lost 5 or 6 close games, which is games by less than a score. We've lost 5 or 6 of them this year. The Denver game, we lost 10-9. He missed the game-winning field goal from about 50. Again, not an easy kick, but something he's made in the past in similar conditions. The New England game, we lost by 3. He missed 4 points worth of kicks. He missed a field goal and an extra point. The Buffalo game, that's the one that really killed us. That was the one that I think solidified, wow, he is washed. He missed 2 field goals and an extra point, I think. No, he missed 2 field goals. We lost that game by 3. He missed 6 points. If you look at it as objectively as possible, he is responsible for 3 of the Jets' losses. And all 3 of those are early in the season. So if he makes all those kicks, we start 3-1. Eventually, if things do stay the same, we fall to 4-4. But starting 3-1, that fully changes the morale of the team. That changes how we approach things. That changes the way games completely unfold. Starting 3-1 and starting 2-3, 2 completely different things. So if you look at it from that aspect, 3-1. We start 3-1. I think Saleh keeps his job, because even if we do lose the next week to Minnesota, we're 3-2. If Woody Johnson is purely like he says, or like he says to the public, I don't know what he's doing in private, but if he is going purely based on record and expectations not being up to par, I think he keeps his job. And that is where the season really went downhill. You watch the team and you just want to put your hands in your face and just why? There's just no discipline. There's no aggression. It just looks. I'm just thinking about that video of the guy who's, there is no passion, there is no aggression in this football club. That's what it's like watching the Jets on a weekly basis. You just sit there and you're just like, wow, they make football look really hard, and you really wonder just why. So I'm gonna go through the games that we've lost this year and say whether or not I think having Robert Saleh there we would have won the game. All right. So after we fired Saleh after the Vikings game. We beat the Bills, like I said before, about, the kicking and everything. The Steeler game. We played really well that first half, but I don't know what happened that second half. Everything fell off. So I think we lose that game. So let me keep track of this, actually. So right now we are 4-3, right? Against the Patriots, we win that game as well. So now we're 5-3. That's a game, another Greg Zuerlein game. Kicking was an issue. We beat the Texans, which we already did. That was a good game. We beat the Cardinals. On paper, we lost to the Cardinals 31-6. That was the game of what the hell is going on. The tackling was horrible. The passion just didn't seem there. There was no fight, no aggression after the first drive. It just looked so messy. It was literally one of the worst games I think I've ever watched. It was horrible. And it was a game that was so, on paper, with all the talent we had Devontae at this point, it was so winnable. And they just played awful. The Colts, another game, we win. Again, this is a team that the defense just looked bad. And I attribute the defense looking bad to Jeff Ulbrich, the defensive coordinator, not being able to coordinate the defense because now he's the head coach. That killed us. It just killed us. And he's a great defensive coordinator, but it's a different animal when you're a head coach, when you're in charge of not only the football operations, but the mental part, the discipline, the keeping guys in check. That is what makes the difference. If we do that in that game, because we didn't even play bad in the Colts game, we put up 27 points. If the defense is doing its job, they put up 15, 20, not even. So another game I think we win. The Seahawks, another win. All of these winnable games. And I'm being realistic. We lose to the Steelers, we lose to the Vikings. Those are teams that are literally just better than us. The Steelers, it was questions at that point in time, is this really a better team? They don't even know who their quarterback is. But they are a better team than us. They were a better team than us. They just are. The Vikings, Sam Darnold's playing out of his mind football. But I don't think it's out of the stretch of the imagination to say that, yeah, the Cardinals might be a equal skill level with the Jets, but we could have so won that game. The Dolphins, we took that game to overtime. And as much as I would love to give us this win, going into a division spot, even with things working perfectly well for the Jets, I think we lose this game, especially since at this point the Dolphins were fighting for a playoff spot. It's always a different when they're playing that way. So I'll give us the loss to the Dolphins. Jaguars, we beat the Jaguars anyway. The Rams, another winnable game. And at this point, right, this is the point in the season where the Jets are playing, and they're playing as if they have nothing to lose. We didn't punt a single time that game. We went for it on fourth down every time we got to fourth down. That's not a team that's playing with something to lose. That's a team where it's all right, we're 4-10. Let's just whatever happens, and maybe we'll win this game. We wouldn't have been in that position if Saleh was there. If we really went into this season with a genuine let's win this shit mindset. And we've only got 2 games left at this point. We've got the Bills and the Dolphins. I think at this point now in the season, they're both L's. I think these were both winnable games. I think we would have lost to the Bills. The Bills are playing insane football right now. Josh Allen looks ridiculous. So we would have lost to the Bills, and I think we beat the Dolphins at home in the home closer. So realistically, this Jets season could have ended 12-5. I don't think that's beyond the realm of imagination to say. And we'll probably end up being 13-4 or 4-13, maybe 5-12. We're finishing 5-12 and we should be finishing 12-5. But by Woody Johnson firing Saleh, by Ulbrich being forced to do things he's not supposed to do, by Greg Zuerlein either being unhealthy or just washed, we've ended up at 5-12. Because at the end of the day, you can look at it at a week-to-week basis. You can always be like, oh, football players will always say, oh, just focus on the next week. Whatever happened in the past happened. Focus on the next week. And if you've been on a team, you know it. It's so clearly a snowball effect where one loss leads to another, and then there's animosity within training camp or within the facility, and the guys get fired, and there's people talking about people behind backs. It's just a snowball effect, and it's just so messy. And it's a mess that the Jets have had for so long, and it's only getting worse. So realistically, I think that's how the Jets season could have gone. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Happy holidays, happy new year to everybody. I think that's about it for my little what could have been rant. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.